Reverend Bonnie Anderson.
Good morning, everyone. What a privilege it is to be here. I absolutely love this church, and as I said last night, the last time Reverend Andy and I were here, we brought our son up here to go to the junior prom with Kelly Golden. We fell in love with this center. So that was, I think there was a real tree back there then, wasn't there? I love the stained glass. So when I heard that the talk today was about the alchemy of awe, I was so excited because I love the word awe. I love the concept of awe. Some dear friends of ours, Etika Luckett and Lisa Ferraro, were performing at Asilomar several years ago, and they had t-shirts made up that said, "If you're not in awe, you're not paying attention." If you're not in awe, you're not paying attention. So when we pay attention, we are in a state of awe, which is, as the wonderful reading said, it's wonder, it's delight with life. And the quickest way for me to get in a place of awe, there's two favorite ways that I have, and one is in nature. I'm a real nature girl. I love to be in nature, hiking in the woods, or by the river, by the ocean, wherever. But when I sit down by the river and listen to the beautiful sounds and the bird song and feel the breeze around me, I just move into a state of awe. And the reading was talking about awe being a mountain or an ocean wave, which is wonderful. You can also move into a state of awe by looking at a leaf. When you're open and receptive, you can look at a beautiful leaf and see the veins and the colors and the symmetry and the shape and move into awe for nature. So nature, I think, is so awe-inspiring. Another wonderful way for me to experience awe is in a newborn baby. Holding a newborn, or even gazing upon a new young life. You see the magic. I had the privilege to be there after our three grandchildren, shortly after they were born, and just to hold them and to look into that new face that's never been in this experience before, just brings up such awe at the magic and the beauty of life. When we're in awe, we are awake. We're awake. And that's when we experience the oneness and the majesty of the universe. Because it's an experience of oneness, isn't it? When we experience awe, we feel that connection with all that is. That's what, I get chills thinking about it. That's what brings us into awe, is that connection. We don't feel separate, and we are awake, fully awake. And then there's that wonderful concept of alchemy. You know, taking elements of little value and transforming or transmuting them into gold, into a precious metal, into something with great value. And this is what awe does. Awe allows us to look at something ordinary like a leaf and see the beauty of the universe. It allows us to see something incredibly beautiful and valuable. It allows us to see beauty in the people around us, to see the connection with someone that we may not have realized. A friend of mine was saying that she started seeing the cord of love, or the cord of life, the cord of God going from her heart to everyone she met. And she said she stopped judging people because she saw God wherever she looked. And that's awe. seeing the perfection in everyone. Awe is a grace-filled moment. And we need to be awake and still to experience awe. It's really difficult to be in awe when we're texting or checking our email or driving our car, hopefully not at the same time, and when we're on the phone eating lunch, all of those things, when we're multitasking, which is so revered in this culture. I can do 5 things at once. I'm great. But we can't experience awe when we're doing all of those things. We must become still. We must go into our very center. Slow down. This morning, we're staying at a beautiful place that David or someone arranged for us, and this morning out back, we're way up on a hill or a mountain, and I looked out over the vista with the sun coming up, and I felt awe. And it was so still and quiet. And I know sometimes in my life I've been too busy to see what's right in front of me. That's the alchemy of awe. It allows us to see the beauty that's already there. In this teaching, and I am learning on a deeper level all the time that what we want is right where we are. We don't have to go out searching for it and reaching for it and climbing for it. It's here. We open to it. That's the alchemy, is that it's right here, right now, as we open to the truth. I discovered a new book that I absolutely love. You may have seen it, by Mark Nepo, called 7,000 Ways to Listen. It's so well written and beautiful. And Mark Nepo in this book says, the task now is to slow down enough and be present enough to enter each moment that calls. So we have to slow down and be present to hear what calls. What is calling? What is calling you forth? There's a wonderful story that I love about a man in ancient times who became very dissatisfied with his life. He grew tired of the village he lived in. It was the same people and the same things, and it looked shabby, and he was dissatisfied with his house. It wasn't the way he wanted it to be. It was disappointing. And he was tired and bored with his wife. She was there every morning, and his kids, his children were disrespectful and didn't honor him the way he thought they should, and he just was tired of everything in his life. So he decided to leave. One day, he turned away from his home and just walked. And he walked through the countryside for miles and miles. He walked and walked and walked and walked until it came time to rest, and he found a little hut where he could sleep for the night. So as he went to sleep on the little cot for the night, he took his old battered shoes and put them outside the hut and faced them in the direction that he was going, so that he knew in the morning which way to walk. Well, while he was sleeping, there was a little sprite who came along and reversed the direction of the shoes. The shoes faced back home. So he got up in the morning and he washed up and he put his shoes on and walked. And he walked for hours. And he came upon a village. And he said, "Oh, look at this village. How quaint." It was his own village. How quaint this village is. It's beautiful. The houses are well kept up. The animals are tended for. There's flowers. This is a beautiful little village. And then he came to a home. He came to a stone house off in the trees, and he said, "Oh, look at this beautiful home. Look at how the flowers out front and how someone has taken care of the garden and swept the front hearth. What a charming little house. And as he was looking, a woman came out of the house to tend to the garden. And he said, look at this beautiful woman. She's so filled with grace and she's so graceful. Look at her care for the home. And then the children came out and greeted him. And he said, look at these children. They're so much more well-behaved than my children are. And look how beautiful they are. And look how respectful they are. So he walked back into his own life and was happy for the rest of his days because he changed the way he looked at it. He looked at his life through new eyes. He saw it through the eyes of wonder and awe. So sometimes we don't have to leave home even. We just have to change the way, like Wayne Dyer says, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. I had the opportunity to attend mystery school one year with Jean Houston in a small group setting in Petaluma, I think, and it was just amazing. And she said, here's a quote from Jean Houston, "There is something else that is trying to come through, that lure of becoming, and it does come from the realm of spirit, and it does come from the quantum universe. It does come from the great spark that is the threshold of time and history trying to emerge and electrify us." If you're not in awe, you're not paying attention. And when you're in awe, you can hear the call of the universe. You can hear it calling you. The lure of becoming. I love those words, the lure of becoming. Reverend David heard that call. He heard that call and he stepped forth and said yes. And look at all that transpired with that. When he first heard, he could have said, "Oh, I'm not sure." But he said yes to the call. It's not always easy to say yes, and it's always, and it sometimes brings up a lot of fright and change and all of those feelings that we get. But when we really listen, we know what the answer is. Reverend Andy and I heard the call when we moved to Roseburg, Oregon from Fremont, California. It was an interesting journey because we were staff ministers in Fremont and having a good life. Our children lived there, our 2 adult sons. And we felt like we had a stirring. We listened. We had a stirring. And it said, we want to do something more. We don't know what it is, but we want to do something more. And then a few months later, it didn't happen overnight, a couple months later, we heard about an opening at a church in Roseburg, Oregon. And we had made a camping trip up Highway 5 from Northern California several years before and camped on the Rogue River and camped on the North Umpqua River near Roseburg. And we loved the area. And we didn't even know, but people said to us, "You raved about that. We were wondering when you were going to move to Oregon because you kept talking about how wonderful it was." So we loved that river. Andy he was fly fishing there. Didn't catch anything, but he was fishing. And so we said, let's go check it out. We said maybe. We didn't say yes yet. Maybe. The spark was lit. So we made arrangements, and we were telling friends, well, we're going to check it out, but we're not going to move. And our son even said to us, our older son who loves to give us a hard time, said, "Isn't that kind of dishonest that you're going to go up there and check it out? You're just getting a free trip." But something was calling us forth. So we came and we candidated, we gave our talk and our workshop, and we were swept up in the love. The first question that came to us from the congregation was, when can you move here? What? And we walked out of the church and looked at each other and said, oh my gosh, I think we're going to do this. It surprised us as much as anyone. And then we went home and said, nah, we can't sell our house and move to Oregon. People don't move away from their children, they move to where their children are. We can't do this. And even our pastor was not happy because he didn't want to lose us. He said, you don't want to go to Roseburg. My sister was furious because she lived there in the same town, and we saw each other, and she was very hurt that I would move away. So we had a lot of resistance, and we had a lot of struggle. But once we said yes, once we really said yes, and the way we did that was by going to Ernest Holmes' textbook. We had it on our deck, and we would go out there and open it up. We'd get scared. We'd open up the textbook and point at a passage and read it and say, oh, that's right, I remember. We're all one. All things are provided for. All the truth came up. So we finally said, yes, we're doing this. And once we said yes, we sold our house and bought a house in Roseburg in 2 weeks. It started moving really quickly. And when that question was asked to me in the church, when could you move here? I said, this was August. I said, I don't know, maybe October? Well, the end of October, 7 years ago, we moved to Roseburg. And we love it there, and we were able to manifest our dream house by setting our intention of what we wanted. And it was a wonderful move. And it was not without terror, though. So sometimes when we hear a call beckoning, it can be to change the way we look at the lives that we have. This is something I didn't mention that is so important. When we're in awe, when we experience that awe, the next feeling that follows automatically is gratitude. Because when we're in awe, we're just automatically grateful. We're so grateful that we experience this. You become grateful just for the mystery of life, for the alchemy of life. When you look at that beautiful leaf or that tree or that sunset or that baby's face and you go into awe, gratitude is right behind it. And when we vibrate at a level of gratitude, our life uplifts. Our life just gets better. For me, I have been in gratitude more lately, and I just feel like I'm riding this wave of gratitude. And it's not like I have to. There are some times when I'm in pain or angst or something's going on in my life where I have to push myself. All right, what am I grateful for? Let me think about this. But when it just wells up, sometimes doesn't it just well up in your heart that you're grateful for life? Our son Ben was born in Old Soul, and one Thanksgiving we were sitting around the table sharing what we're grateful for before we had Thanksgiving dinner. And everybody's, the food's there, beautiful, and we're ready to eat, and some people are a little, we go around the table, and a lot of people said, I'm thankful for friends and family, and kind of great but surface things. So Ben was about 7 years old, 6 or 7. He said, I'm grateful for my arms and my legs. And we all stopped and breathed and said, oh, so are we. We forgot. We forgot to be grateful for our arms and our legs. So gratitude, you don't have to move away from home to experience gratitude in your life. It's right here where we are. How is Spirit calling you forth? How is Spirit calling you forth, each one of you? Sri Aurobindo said, to seek delight is the fundamental impulse of life. To find, possess, and fulfill it is life's whole motive. What if that's all life was about, was to seek delight? Delight in the realization of your oneness with pure spirit. When we're in oneness, we are naturally in delight. When we're in delight, we're naturally in oneness. So I invite you to see awe, to use that quality, that way of seeing life, to be grateful for your arms and your legs and your eyes and all of the wonderful blessings that are already in your life right now. So I'd like to close with a prayer from the Navajo blessing ceremony before I do a closing treatment. So would you stand for a moment? And you can close your eyes or leave them open or whatever, but just repeat after me. In beauty I walk.
In beauty I walk.
With beauty before me I walk.
With beauty before me I walk.
With beauty behind me I walk.
With beauty behind me I walk.
With beauty above me I walk.
With beauty above me I walk.
With beauty below me I walk. With beauty all around me, I walk.
With beauty all around me, I walk.
With beauty within me, I walk.
With beauty within me, I walk.
It has become beauty again.
It has become beauty again.
You may be seated. And we know together today that beauty is who and what we are. Beauty calls us forth to notice with awe the blessings that are right here and right now. We walk forth in our lives with trust, with a mind of a beginner looking at things like the first time, seeing the beauty in every face we meet, seeing the beauty in every piece of nature, every leaf, every branch, every blade of grass. We pay attention, we slow down, and we see with awe and gratitude. And we experience the alchemy of the ordinary becoming extraordinary as we still ourselves and listen to the voice of God within. Listen to the voice calling us forth every moment. In great gratitude for the awe, for the beauty that is around me always. In great gratitude for the newborn babes. And the beauty of nature. And for my oneness with the eternality of life. I release this in great joy and great thanksgiving, knowing that I have planted the seeds of awe and beauty in the fertile soil of mind, and they are blossoming forth now as I speak. And please join me in saying, and so it is.